we are currently streaming. Alright. Should we give it a few seconds or just go? Do we... Are the people... We wait for people to come in?
Give it a solid 10 seconds. They're gonna be confused about how early the podcast is.
It's not midnight. What are you doing?
What is happening?
It's supposed to go at 1 a.m. in the morning.
This is supposed to be the nighttime stream, right? I listen to that when I go to bed.
Is it live for anyone?
I'm just waiting for it to actually show up. To say
Yeah, I'm waiting for an ad.
I've got it. Retro Gaming's here. Zach the Destroyer. Oh, people are showing up. Zach the Destroyer. Hey, it's Domino's. Okay.
Oh, why am I in the middle?
Wyatt Wagner. Someone's name is I Like the Color Yellow. Okay.
I also
Zelda
like the color
64
yellow.
fan. Hi.
Hey.
I'm not into it, to be honest. Not my favorite color. I think I'm frozen. Am I frozen for anyone?
No.
No.
No. I'm only frozen for myself.
Why can't I see that we're live? Am I broken?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we only have 18
That's
people
okay.
watching, so...
Kick me out. I'm not allowed to be here.
Sweet.
Okay, bye. Bye.
Alright, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Alright. Oh, this is
Go
squeaky.
ahead.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Hylian Gamescast, episode 91. We are also now on iTunes and Spotify. Please give us a review on iTunes and we will give you a shout out and read your review live during our podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Jesse.
I'm Daniel.
Oh, I'm Kayla.
Good job.
I'm the Geek Apprentice, or TGA for short.
And I'm Lucy.
Alright, and today we're going to be discussing a lot of great Nintendo news, some Zelda theories, and ending with our Zelda Mailbag, where we will be answering questions sent in from fans like yourself. If you're a fan of the Hylian Gamescast, or the YouTube channel, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where just $1 will help us more than you can imagine. You can get a lot of great rewards for yourself, such as receiving a shout-out on every podcast, joining as a guest on videos, having your question, Zelda theory, or topic guaranteed to be answered or discussed on our videos, and much more. You can even join us on our Let's Plays and live streams, and it all starts at a single $1. However, we ask that you support us not for all the rewards, but because you want to help us grow and be an amazing member of our community. The rewards are just our way of saying thank you and letting you know how grateful we are for your support. We also have a few new video series we want to quickly talk about. One that tons of people have requested. We now have a weekly top 5 Zelda and gaming theory series. Please comment below and let us know a name that you would recommend for a weekly Zelda-focused theory series. You comment or send us your favorite Zelda theory. It can be a new one you made up, or a favorite you first heard years ago. We pick 5 that we like, read them out in a video, and discuss them. Then everyone votes in the comments on which is their favorite, and leave new theories for the next video. If your Zelda theory wins, you can get a free amiibo, or a $20 Nintendo eShop card. If you're a Patreon supporter, you are guaranteed to have your theory featured on the video. Our next series is Gaming and Uncut and Uncensored with Kayla. The first video is up right now where she covers the top 10 censored content and adult mature things that probably should have been censored in the Zelda games. Our final new series is Gaming Myths and Mysteries with Daniel. The first video is coming soon where he tells us the truth about common misconceptions, lies, and myths that are believed about the Zelda series, showing interviews, facts, and video evidence on screen as proof to put an end to a lot of complete BS and lies that people are wrongly spreading. The first episodes of these series focus on Zelda. We'll be covering Pokemon next, and you can comment on the videos to let us know which games to cover next. Banjo-Kazooie, Mario, Mega Man, PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo games, it's all up to you. If you are a Patreon supporter, you can also join on the videos with us, or guarantee that we cover the game that you want us to focus on. Now, as I mentioned earlier, as part of your Patreon rewards, among the many other things mentioned is guaranteed shout-outs on our videos, so a huge thank you to the following people. Daniel, would you like to give the shout-outs?
Okay.
Well, just so it's not me rambling.
No. Oh, I don't mind you rambling. That's such a nice silky smooth voice.
Yeah.
The Patreon shoutouts. I've lost where we are.
Oh, good.
It's after
I
the
knew
bold.
it was a disaster. You pardon?
It's after
You
the
could-
bold stuff.
Boo.
Boo. Okay, so big thank you to these fellow people who are supporting us. Sheikah Witch, Manboy Cave, David, Monica, Bootleg Boy, Ran, Jammin, Derek, Shadow to Us, Jonah, Rusty, BKRS7, Jacob, Lovable Christy, Mandy Lee Plays, Tornin Prince, Lily the dog. I don't know if she's actually a dog. Amanda, Gus, Allen, the Legend of Rage, Blargnar, the Enix Freak, Larulian Sheep, and Lunarium. Thank you guys all so much. Remember, you're all guaranteed to get a shout out and guaranteed to have your questions answered in our Zelda mailbag. So if you have your Zelda or gaming theory discussed on our new series, and you get all of that good stuff, please message us if you have a question or anything concerning Patreon or podcast on our news videos, etc. I hope I nailed that one. I really didn't. Also, we got
Good effort.
super chat already in the YouTube chat here, Jesse.
Oh, did we?
What?
We already.
Oh, $2 from Larulian Sheep. Will the Sheikah play a more prominent role in 2? Daniel, what are your thoughts? Do you think the Sheikah will play? I mean, they were literally everywhere,
They were.
buried under the ground in the first.
Yeah, I think they played as prominent a role as it gets already in Breath of the Wild. I don't know if they can get a more prominent role, really. Like, they would have to really be in your face about it to get a more prominent role. So I don't think so personally, but
You would have to be
That's me.
Sheikah for them to be more prominent.
yeah, that's the only way, basically. So yeah, I don't think so. That's
Alright.
my thought. Does anyone else have a thought there?
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah. So our first news story comes from comicbook.com, where they say Pokemon is no longer Game Freak's #1 priority, says developer.
Yes.
Which, honestly, I was talking to Daniel about that earlier. It kind of makes sense because they know Pokemon's going to sell millions of copies, and they're working on the entirely new series called Town. So it would kind of make sense that they would want to focus on Town as their main priority because that's the game that could release and lose them tons of money, where they know Pokemon's going to do well no matter what. So, but anyways, they say relying on one series is never good unless that series is Call of Duty, FIFA, or Pokemon. Japanese developer Game Freak has been around since 1989, and since 1996, when it released Pokemon Red and Blue, it has been releasing almost exclusively Pokemon games. I think they forgot about Red and Green, but maybe they're just going with the American releases. And it's gone well for the studio that said it's increasingly putting more priority on making new games, and is even prioritizing new game projects more than Pokemon at this point, according to one developer speaking to VGC. Game Freak programmer and director Masayuki Inouye, I don't know, revealed there's 2 production teams at the studio, one for Pokemon and one for new projects. This allows the team to take breaks from the Nintendo series, but it's also becoming a bigger and bigger focus for Japanese studio. In addition to the Pokemon team, Inouye, do you guys know how to pronounce that? Or do I just have to continue sounding stupid?
You can continue.
Probably already doing better than I would.
You're doing the best you can.
Inouye says Game Freak has a gear project teaming, which recently produced Giga Wrecker and is also working on Town. There are 2 different production teams here, simply named Production Team 1 and Production Team 2. That's very, very creative, said Inouye. Team 1 is fully dedicated to Gear Project, while Team 2 is for the Pokemon operation. What that means is that Game Freak as a company is prioritizing Gear Project, which is production team #1, more than Pokemon in general. We are always trying to create something that is equally exciting or more exciting than Pokemon. According to Inouye, there's a lot of back and forth between the 2 teams. The director and designer also pointed out that Team 1 is a bit more diverse in terms of what it can do, because it's working on hardware that isn't just Nintendo hardware. And from the sounds of it, this development approach is making Game Freak more well-rounded. When you're a programmer working on Pokemon, you're one of many programmers. However, as a director of Giga Wrecker, the experience opened my eyes on the other aspects of game creation all the way up to users playing the game. It's really difficult to expect a programmer to have that kind of perspective, but as director, I learned how to make a game more appealing and accessible to players, plus aspects of marketing as well. Gear Project has helped me become more creative. I've now seen the whole process of creation all the way to marketing and selling the game to players. I can now bring that know-how back to the Pokemon team and try to create something different for Pokemon. It's a good synergy between Gear Project and Pokemon creation. So, the first thing that I feel that a lot of Nintendo fans, especially the ones that are hating that all of the Pokemon backlash,
and they were really upset that we didn't hate the Pokemon backlash.
Yeah,
we were like,
I think the first complaint to them would just be more complaints that if they did focus on Pokemon full time and didn't have their studio separated into two teams, then they would have enough people to put all the Pokemon into Pokemon Sword and Shield. But since their teams are separated, they don't care about Pokemon, obviously. That's what I think a lot of people.
Is quite the right word, but yeah.
I feel those are going to be the comments, though. But yeah, what do you guys think? Chubes, you got some Pokemon played time at E3.
We all played the same demo, Jesse.
Yeah, but
Yeah, Jesse.
I didn't really
Where
pay
were
attention
you?
to mine.
Oh yeah, that's right. Jesse played for a little bit, and then he just came and filmed me do
right.
terribly at it.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
I pulled out a fire type out of water.
Yeah, that's not right.
No.
Scorbunny was not the right choice against Dreadnought, who's a rock and water type.
Very embarrassing. Anyways, I feel like Jesse kind of mentioned this a bit. I feel like a lot of people aren't really gonna notice, and a lot of people probably aren't really gonna care too much. But at the same time, it also really kind of gives the company more to work on. Because could you imagine, like, working for a company and the only game you've ever done is Pokemon? Like
Yeah.
how do you go out and apply for other jobs with that? Like, yeah, sure, like Pokemon is huge. That's amazing. That's such an awesome opportunity. But it doesn't show any diversity coming from like a hiring standpoint and for building a portfolio. So I feel like that's probably a good way to kind of break it up. Because honestly, like, what if these people don't even like Pokemon? Could you imagine?
If the
You
developers
get hired on by
don't like
Game Freak and
Pokemon,
you're like, yes, I'm so excited for this. I don't like Pokemon that much though, and this is all I'm doing. Maybe Game Freak has some like really crazy idea for like a different game that they're wanting to do, but they're stuck with doing Pokemon the whole time. So it also gives them as a company an opportunity to branch out. But
Yeah,
that's
which
just
is
me
always
talking out my nose hole.
Yarp.
right? And what about you, Geek? What are your thoughts on the Pokemon? Yeah.
I'm still waiting to see more information on town because ever since I first saw anything about that, I was like, this seems interesting. I want to know more, and we haven't heard anything since. So I think, like other things that have been said, you know, they've been doing the same thing for so long. Surely they've had all of these ideas pent up that they're like, this wouldn't work for Pokemon, but it could work for something else. So now they might be able to like finally do that. And I, at least knowing how easily I burn out on things, I imagine a lot of them that maybe have been working there a long time are like, oh, sweet freedom. I love Pokemon, but sweet freedom.
All right. And finally, you, Lucy. What are your thoughts on all this?
I concur.
All right.
Right on. I noticed Kyogre in the chat says, as long as we have a great game from it, because the last few generations have been kind of mediocre, I'm fine with sacrificing a few Pokemon. And I think that pretty much sums up my feelings too. Like, just as long as it's a good game. And if they want to try something new and split their team, like, I don't see any problem with trying new things. So, yeah. People gotta calm down.
I don't
Also,
have all
did
my
they
Pokemon
rename-
and the trees don't look right.
Sorry,
Oh my
unrelated, but did they rename the Dynamax thing? Because, like, the Pokemon Twitter tweeted something about a, like, Gigantamax?
It's a different thing.
Okay.
What?
I was
Oh.
very confused when I saw that tweet, and I was like,
Yeah, now I'm lost.
and other people had retweeted it being like,
So
I watched
does that mean
Austin John play. He covered it, and I was like, oh, okay. So
Yeah, they showed off a
It's a
cool,
different
like, ghost type gym leader or something like that. That was really cool.
Alistair.
Ah. Does that mean Jigglypuff's final smash in Smash Bros is just now they're gonna rebrand it to Dynamaxing? Because that's all it is she just grows
Oh, yeah.
gigantic for like
Oh my
10
gosh.
seconds. Also, a fly flew into my water and drowned, and I don't get to finish my water, so
That's
Daniel,
so
just drink the
unfortunate.
fly.
So,
no, I'm not gonna drink the fly. I dumped it in my wife's plant.
yeah, he's vegetarian. He can't drink flies.
It's water. you
You're
can
gonna
dump
overwater
water.
her plants.
It's
not gonna
fine.
drink fly. Oh no.
This is why Fern doesn't stand a chance. Anyways, any other
Fern's doing
thoughts about
great.
this? Should we move on?
I don't. So I want to know what everyone has been complaining about the Pokemon games. So just out of curiosity, do any of you have any legitimate complaints about Pokemon, or do you want to jump on the tree bandwagon?
Random encounters.
Random.
Why would they
encounter?
bring it back? Like they moved away
Is
from
it
and I
brought
was
back?
like,
I'm
that's
so
good.
confused.
It seems
thought it
like it kind of is, but kind of it seems like 50-50 almost. You know?
Yeah, I thought it
Like,
was
I
like a mix of
understood.
both.
Like, I felt like Random Encounters was just a gimmick that was made up because the systems couldn't handle it. Like, a Game Boy couldn't handle generating all of those Pokemon, and now it's like, it's just annoying, so it should be gotten rid
But
of.
it's what people know, so they.
Which I
they don't wanna
understand.
change, which I don't agree with. I hate random encounters in games. I just find them
No, I hate them too.
superbly annoying.
I understand the nostalgia. That's how I was with Breath of the Wild when I first heard about it. I was like, I don't want them changing all of this, and then I was like, actually, this is great. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm tempted to not get the game if it's Random Encounters because I feel like it just makes it a grind. I can't stand it.
That was my big obstacle with Octopath Traveler too. I still never finished it because I'd be walking from place to place and it was just like, oh man, do I ever fight 5 Ratmen again? Like, just it's not a good game mechanic, guys. It's an old game mechanic that has aged poorly.
You have to
Also, the
stock
world
up
feels
on
so
all of the
cool
repel.
with all the Pokemon in it.
It's true.
Actually, feels
It's
like the
cool
world
to
of
see
Pokemon.
them. It's cool to walk through the forest and see Pokemon in the grass and.
I understand if it's like a
Butterfree
smaller
flying around
Pokemon
and
though, like a Caterpie, you can.
Sure.
Random question though, like what is it about random encounters that you guys don't like so much? Like for me, I think having the Pokemon show up, the only real benefit of that for me is it makes it easier to grind for shinies, but I don't...
Well, it also makes it easier to avoid, like if you're looking for one type of Pokemon or whatever, then you can avoid it, right?
Yeah,
But it's just,
and
I
then
don't know.
also with random encounters, you don't really get a choice. You just kind of walk through the grass and it's bang!
It just shows up and it just interrupts everything. I don't
You're
like being
dead. Going through a peaceful stroll? Not anymore. Oh, okay. Cool.
You know what game handles random encounters superbly well? Earthbound. That game, you see the enemies, and if it's they'll go after you and stuff, but like you can avoid them. It's sort of that middle ground, and that game is the best example of random encounters.
What about the random encounters in Zelda 2?
They're close to that, but just they show up, but they're still super unavoidable. To be honest,
They are the most annoying.
they are really bad.
Because in Pokemon or normal RPGs, you can just like tap the button and quickly move
She
on.
gone.
Oh,
She gone.
she must really love Zelda 2. No, but in Zelda 2, you have to like actually be active and walk across the screen and dodge the enemies and stuff. You can't do that in Pokemon.
Mm-mm.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like for me, I never really random encounters never really bothered me. Honestly, like the only reason why I'm not a big Pokemon fan is because I get through like the first fight. I do this thing where I'm like, I'm gonna play all the Pokemon games from the first one to the last one, and then I get halfway through Pokemon Yellow or something, and I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And then I just stop.
I mean,
Oh, she back.
for me personally, I do like the random encounters. Probably a lot of it is because I haven't played many of the newer games. So I do have that Pokemon nostalgia because I grew up from infancy because I had older relatives who were into Pokemon, watching it, playing all the early games. And I will admit there definitely have been times where it has gotten annoying. And like if you run out of repels or whatever. And for me, my biggest issue was in cave. I didn't mind in like grassy areas or whatever, but when you got in a cave, that's the only place that random encounters really bother.
Because it's so close cornered. You always run into them.
Alright.
Daniel, do you want to take, or does anyone want to take the third news story about Pokemon Snap 2?
Pokemon Snap! Pokemon Snap! Pokemon Snap!
Okay, sounds like Chublima wants it.
Alright. This is a very short one. Wow. Alright. Here we go, guys. Alright. Alright. Sorry, I'm having a... What in tarnation?
What in tarnation?
How did...
Wow, I feel the love.
Okay.
What?
Something wild happened.
RPG. I feel betrayed.
Okay, anyways, this article comes from GoNintendo.com. Don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm gonna just go Masuda. It says for Pokemon
Masuda.
Snap 2. Wait, what? It says for Pokemon Snap 2 to happen, the game would have to have a very unique twist. Which is funny because I saw this on Twitter. Fans have been begging for a new Pokemon Snap for years and years now, but it never seems to happen. You'd think the game would have gotten at least one sequel by now, but that's not the case. Will we ever see a sequel? Game Central talked to Game Freak's Masuda about making Pokemon Snap 2, and he shared that the only way that would happen... What? That's it. Is that it? Sounds there. Alright.
Wait, what?
The only way that would happen is if it had a very unique
you phased
twist.
out of time for a moment.
What?
You cut out for a moment. Your connection was...
Where did I cut out?
I don't know. It sounded like...
For all of that?
For a lot of it.
Oh, I heard it all.
Oh no, maybe it's me.
Uh-oh, Jesse, did you hear me?
I guess I know what the news is, so if you did cut out, it's fine. But yeah. So what do you guys think?
No.
What do you guys think it is? Like something unique has to happen. Like it seems like it would have been something obvious for the 3DS or the Wii U.
Augmented reality.
So
Not
what
that
I
I
saw,
want that.
But that
people
would
were
be
talking about
unique
this on
something.
Twitter and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, like Pokemon Snap 2. All we want is Pokemon Snap, all of the new Pokemon, new places to take pictures of the Pokemon. That's it." I don't think they have to do anything super crazy. Also, just see the way you're sitting right now. It looks like your chair is giving you cat ears.
It is giving you cat ears.
It's like you're wearing the headphones with the cat ears, like what Cece wears.
Sorry.
I should get
You should.
those. I should get those.
You should get them, Lucy. They would fit your aesthetic.
Yes. Cats.
Yeah,
Jesse, get cat ears, please. Someone
Fan
donate
service.
money for Jesse to get. It's what the fans want.
Yeah, well, the fans wanted you to get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Someone,
You ignore that.
if someone sends fan art of me with cat ears, I will make it my display picture.
Done. Alright.
Sweet, I'm gonna draw it. It's
Alright.
gonna be bad.
So yeah, Daniel,
Good.
you starting off. What do you think this unique thing is? Like, do you think it's another new console that has cameras on the back, or what? Because they're not going to be releasing it for the Wii U, and they're not going to be releasing it for 3DS. Maybe a smartphone game? You can already take
The Wii
pictures
U?
with Pokemon on Pokemon Go.
I would
That's
really
true.
not like it to be a smartphone game because first off, it would probably want to use data. Second, I don't want to kill my battery like that. How many power chargers do you think I have in my life to go walking around town with?
3.
2. One for home, one for on the. That's...
Yep. Nope. Done.
But I don't know. Probably I don't want a mobile game like for that. The Wii U would have been so perfect, and it's dead now. It's gone.
Oh,
and
why'd you
dead.
kill it?
I didn't mean to.
If Just
I
Dance can
didn't
bring
mean to
back the
kill
Wii,
you.
Pokemon Snap 2 can bring back the Wii U.
Yeah, they could. The 3DS also would have been good. Yeah, you know what? I think honestly, just gyros in general, gyro controls are a good fit for something like Pokemon Snap.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But you know what? Instead of making it like an on-rails thing, make it like open world setting. That would be a cool, unique. Well, I don't know if unique in the video game world is right, but unique for Pokemon Snap.
What if they? No,
like
I'll save
mission.
that for my turn.
Okay, it's your turn.
Yeah,
Okay.
go.
Okay, so I was thinking, if they made it instead of its own game, what if they had it like DLC for Sword and Shield, so that you could run around with like a Tingle tuner camera, like Link does in Wind Waker, and then you can just like take the pictures of the Pokemon yourself, and maybe there's mini games in Sword and Shield that like takes you around whatever this version of the Safari Zone would be, and like you have to take pictures while you're riding around on the cart, and then like you can get up and leave and go back to normal Pokemon afterwards. That way it's your normal Pokemon game, and then you can also take pictures of the Pokemon, and then maybe some Pokemon don't show up in the actual game until you take the picture of them. So that's my idea. Just give it for like $30 DLC instead of, because that sounds expensive for DLC, because that's the price of like a normal Pokemon game when it was on the DS. But would you rather pay $60 and get a standalone Pokemon Snap game, or would you rather pay half the price and have it implemented into an actual Pokemon game, to where like you're not some random person taking pictures for no reason, like it actually is a part of the story, like because they always have the competitions and stuff where like if you get your Pokemon looking cute enough or pretty enough, then you'll win stuff or whatever. So in the same way they have those competitions, maybe if you take a good enough picture, then you can get certain items that'll help out in the actual game. So that's my idea. But Geek, what's your idea?
Well, I had mentioned the augmented reality. I don't want that, but I could see them. That would be a twist. My thing is just make the judging system from the professor, whether it's Professor Oak or someone else, better, because I would take a perfect picture and he'd be like, "You were close," and then I would take a crappy picture and he'd be like, "Good job," and I'm like,
yeah, I would always pick the one, even if it wasn't as good of a picture by their standards. I would pick the one that I thought was best.
it was better than Hey You Pikachu though.
Was it? Could anything really be better than Hey You Pikachu?
Yes.
Almost
That was kind of like
very easily.
that was like peak Nintendo. I don't think you could do much better than that.
I always
Almost
wanted Hey You
everything was
Pikachu,
better.
but didn't happen.
I do remember my neighbor had it when I was a kid, and I was real jelly.
Yeah.
All kinds of
You would
jellies.
always be woken up
I
at
just
3 in the
wanted the
morning,
microphone.
and your neighbor would just be yelling, "Hey, you Pikachu!"
Yeah, it's like 3 a.m. They're like, Pikachu! Pikachu! No, not really.
Get the apple! Get the apple!
Hey Jesse,
Hi, that's
guess
me.
what? I made you the fan art.
Oh,
You're
nice.
stuck.
Let's
You're
see
stuck.
it.
What?
Oh, yeah.
You have to post it now.
Oh, yeah.
10 out of 10.
Gotta
You have
do it.
no option.
That is
It's
amazing.
happening. This is happening, Jesse.
Yeah.
Scan
I'm
it.
going to
Send
send
it
it
to
to
him.
you, and it's stuck.
Okay, I will.
Everyone here has been witness to it.
Y'all heard.
All right. So Chewy, what is your idea? You were gone when I said mine. Mine was basically add the DLC to Pokemon Sword and Shield, so that it plays like a mini game within the game, as opposed to an actual game. Like you go to the Safari Zone type thing, and then you can get in a cart and ride around, and then you can get out of the cart and go back to your normal Pokemon game. Yeah.
Honestly, like, I'm worried that because now video games are so different that I don't know if I have it in me to legitimately just sit down and play like Pokemon Snap. I don't
But-
know what it would take for me to sit down and be like, yeah, a couple
But
hours on my Switch, take
you-
photos of Pokemon. That's all I need. So
You get to
like,
bop all the Charmanders in the head with apples, though. You would play just for that.
That's cruel.
They would have to add some sort of achievements.
That's
Some
how they
really
evolve.
wild things that you can do while you're taking photos. Yes, then I would play.
Like, remember if you knocked like a Charmander into the volcano,
Yeah.
he evolved, or Charmeleon, he evolved. Something like that.
The good old days.
There was a bunch of them that did that. That was really cool. Like you'd have to get the Magikarp in the waterfall or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Which goes with the whole legend and what it's
Yeah.
based off of and everything.
It's perfect.
The most useless Pokemon until it evolved.
Oh.
And then you're like, oh my.
Did you watch Detective Pikachu? Did you guys watch Detective Pikachu?
Yeah.
No.
Oh. I'm not gonna spoil it then. But that was a cool
I was,
Magikarp scene.
like about to.
What was the name of the Pokemon movie before that?
The one I haven't watched yet?
The Power of
we
Us?
watched it.
No, there's a new one.
Was the
A
one
new-
between those?
The Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution?
No, the one we saw, Lucy, there's another one that's now on Netflix, I think.
Well,
Yeah, it's The Power of Us.
I am behind on my time.
I don't remember what the name was of the one we saw, though.
So
I
they
just remember crying in a Pikachu onesie.
they had the anniversary movie, and then they had The Power of Us, which was like its sequel,
Okay.
and then now they're having Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, which is like full CG and it looks all weird and stuff. But Lucy, what's your idea for a unique way to play Pokemon Snap 2?
No comment. I fear I was a bit distracted during discussions.
Uh-oh. For a
Drawing
second I thought you said
photos of-
milk comments, but no comment makes me way more. So why milk?
Too busy drawing cat ears.
Milk
on Jesse.
comment. That's time well spent, in fairness.
It was.
Definitely.
Alright. It is now posted on the Instagrams.
Woohoo!
Good.
Instagram?
Yeah.
Let's pull this bad boy
Which
up.
means it also goes to Facebook.
We're gonna
and
show
Twitter.
everyone. People watching or listening on iTunes in the audio version are gonna be a little out of the loop here, but it's great, guys. I'm assuring you.
It's great. So I guess we can do the next news story.
Yeah.
From Nintendo Life, Nintendo posts jobs listing. I can't talk. From Nintendo Life, Nintendo posts job listings for Zelda Breath of the Wild dungeon designers. Although it's probably a good couple of years away from launching, the Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel has obviously become one of the most anticipated games on Switch since the moment it was revealed. News on the game will likely be rather non-existent until we get closer to launch. That sentence, it's a weird one. News on the game will likely be rather non-existent until we get closer to launch. It's basically another way of saying we're not going to get any news until they give us news. Yeah.
Doesn't that make that news?
Yeah, but we do know that Nintendo is currently looking for developers to work specifically on the project. The company's official recruitment page, 2 jobs are currently listed for contract employees to work on the Zelda sequel. One is for a 3D CG, 3D computer graphics designer, while the other is for a level designer, and both will be based at Nintendo's head office in Kyoto. The 3D CG designer will be responsible for working on the game's terrain, including filled dungeons, with the level designer taking on a role that will focus on the planning and implementation of areas such as game events, dungeons, and more. While that doesn't necessarily give away any particularly juicy info, the first listing will be accepting applications until the 30th of September 2019, so just in case anyone out there was hoping for a stealth release this year, we can safely bet that almost definitely won't be the case. As we mentioned in our roundup of all things Breath of the Wild 2, we'd take a guess at a 2021 launch if we had to. I'm still going to go with 2020. because Breath of the Wild was originally going to take 3 years before they decided to delay it. And now they already have everything almost done. They don't have to delay the game for the engine or anything. So if Breath of the Wild was originally going to take 3 years, I could see Breath of the Wild 2 taking like 2 or 2.5. But that's just my thoughts. But yeah, what about starting with you, Daniel? You're the Zelda expert.
Coming from the Zelda expert himself.
Do you think?
Okay.
Do you think they should bring back dungeons?
Title. Jesse.
Yes.
My internet cut out.
Oh.
I didn't hear
No,
what
do
you
you think they're going to bring back dungeons? And do you think they should?
Yes and yeah. I mean, we talked about it last week with Josh as well, quite a bit. The implication to me is that they are kind of rolling with the feed, and that's why they're kind of teasing us with the dabbles of information they have been. Because after, like, I think I mentioned this last week too with Josh, but after Skyward Sword, people were like, it's too linear, we want more open exploration, so they went just like completely that way with. And now people are like, but I still want to have my cake and eat it too. I want them dungeons. So now they give us a trailer showing exploring a dank, dark cave, you know, and it's all creepy and dungeony. And they have that shot with like what really looks like a dungeon entrance. And so, yeah, I want to have my cake and eat it too. And yeah, I think they will give us some dungeons. That's all I gotta say about that.
All right, Tubes.
Okay, but hear me out.
No. Okay, Ilya. Okay, Tubes. Go.
This is why Daniel and I aren't friends in real life.
Wait, did you say are or aren't?
I definitely said aren't friends in real life.
Rude.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'll have you know I'm only mean to my friends.
What I was gonna say is, hear me out. They realize people are upset that there are no dungeons in the first Breath of the Wild, so all of Breath of the Wild 2 is gonna be a dungeon. I'm just kidding, but I think that if we're not doing anything relating to like divine beasts, like I feel like there's a very different path for them to go on for a Legend of Zelda game, that they'll probably bring back something more classic feeling like a dungeon, just because like how much more weird can you get with shrines and divine beasts before your fans really just absolutely flip out? Because while some people really liked the divine beast, some people really didn't like it, so they're probably gonna have to try to find that middle ground. Seeing as though Nintendo normally listens to the fans, so maybe we'll see what happens. But I like dungeons. Dungeons make me think a little bit more. Like, the divine beasts were fun, but they weren't challenging. They weren't like long and drawn out. They didn't make me think as much as I normally would in my first playthrough of a Legend of Zelda game. There weren't a lot of things that were like, whoa, that's like a really cool puzzle idea when it came to divine beasts. So yeah, I'd like to see the incorporation of dungeons.
I have 2.5 things that I want to say, but one of them I'm going to save for later so I can romance Daniel with it. But the second thing is, this is like the half thing. I think one of the reasons that they gave us shrines, which were basically mini dungeons, is because maybe they had a lot of ideas that they thought were great, but wouldn't be a good concept for a full dungeon. Like in Skyward Sword, in the Earth dungeon, the main way to traverse it was getting on the big rock ball thing and rolling it around while you like go through all of the snake path hallways. And like just try not to touch the lava or whatever. And then in the Skyview dungeon, the first one in Skyward Sword, you had to navigate the beetle through everything. I think in Breath of the Wild, they had a ton of ideas that they thought were great, but wouldn't work for a full dungeon, so they just used them as their own little one-room puzzles for the shrines. But the other thing is what I've been saying. Instead of giving us like 100 or 120 shrines, probably like 150 or more if you count all of the DLC shrines, instead of giving us that, just like cut the number in half, give like 40 or 50 shrines, and then use the ideas and concepts you would have had for the other 50 shrines, and just take like what would have been 10 individual shrines and put it together as one big normal themed temple dungeon. That way you get all of the shrines or mini dungeons from the last game that everyone enjoyed, and then you get the new dungeons, or technically the old dungeons that everyone missed. So I think that would be like the best of both worlds. And since they're reusing the same Hyrule, the easiest way to explain why now there's suddenly dungeons and temples there that weren't there before is the same way they did at the beginning of Breath of the Wild, where Link touches the pedestal with his Sheikah Slate, and all of a sudden these giant towers come up out of the ground from nowhere. And even in the DLC, after you thought you've conquered every single shrine, when you put the Sheikah Slate on the pedestal again, suddenly these new shrines pop up out of nowhere. And they could literally just do the exact same thing again, to where the game starts out and there's suddenly another new pedestal, so Link touches it, and suddenly like the rocks and stuff crumble off of mountains or whatever, and now there's dungeons there. They were there the entire time. It was just they were hidden under the ground, just like the DLC. And I think that's what's going to happen. Or like a bunch of snow on one of the mountains is going to melt.
The castle gets like lifted, right?
Yeah.
So I assume that there's going to be some like an entrance or dungeon entrance or something.
So that is what I wanted to
sort of
talk to you
on the
later
side of
about.
Like stone wall that gets lifted out almost, you know?
But what I'm going to tell you after the podcast is so simple, yet so clever. Think very literal about Ganondorf, and then you might be able to figure out what I want to tell you. But it's one of the ideas.
Very lost.
Do you remember? Okay, do you remember the last video that I was like, I'm going to post this video, and it's going to be the fastest video I make to get 100,000 views. And I did, and it did. That's how I feel about this video. I feel it'll be super fast to get a lot of views, because it's such a stupid idea that I think Nintendo would do it. But it's so clever.
Alright.
No, it's not. Kind of. Yeah.
It's kinda. Kinda?
Yeah, kinda.
Oh,
so,
no.
Lucy, since our geek apprentice isn't here, what are your thoughts?
She's resting.
Oh, okay. What are your thoughts on
in the restroom.
all of the shrines and stuff? Did you prefer the way Breath of the Wild was laid out, or do you prefer the normal style of dungeons and temples and stuff?
Yes. No, but I do think, I haven't played much of Breath of the Wild, but I've done a lot of thank you. I have witnessed a lot of gameplay, and I do like the little shrines, but I do think it'd be good to go back to some more lengthy stuff, as Taylor was saying about actually like thinking and having to solve more puzzles than just one or two little.
Alright. Should we move on without Geek?
Well,
She's
Daniel said she's probably resting in the restroom, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
she said she's going to the restroom, so so she's gonna have her.
Aw, someone's
Who
in
knows?
the Twitch chat.
Oh wait, we're on Twitch.
Restream bot says that Connor Wood too says hi.
Oh, wait, hang on a sec.
Oh, Geek, you're here.
Says Twitch is not. Oh wait, we're on Gibbs' Twitch chat. Or on
Are we?
Gibbs' channel.
He was streaming on my channel the other day, so he could still be logged in on Restreams.
I guess so. I guess so. We're
Yeah.
on Gibbs' Twitch.
His fans
Hey,
are
Connor,
probably like,
what?
what's going on?
They're like,
Where's
"Who
Gibbs?
are all these people who are not Gibbs?
Which one of these dudes is Gibbs?
Which one?
Yeah. So
Is that a
Daniel,
burrito?
Oh, she was hungry.
do you want to take
I did
the?
get something too. I had to go to the bathroom.
So you were resting.
In the restroom.
And the restaurant.
Do you want to take the
was-
Smash news?
Hell yeah!
Yes.
I like
No, wait,
Smash
really
games.
quick. Geek.
Okay.
What do you think about the? Do you want things to stay like Breath of the Wild, or do you want traditional dungeons back, or a mix of both?
Both.
Okay, go
I want
Daniel.
both.
Alright.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Lucy and I. Done.
Sweet. Every time you say geek, Jesse, a part of me like flinches almost.
Well, she
Yeah, just like don't.
You're coming back.
she's
Yeah.
transitioning out of 𝐓𝐼𝐢 to geek, so
Or TGA, I don't know.
or yeah, TG, but it's
Exactly.
like. Sorry,
Exactly
Lucy?
what I said would happen happened.
What?
Exactly what I said would happen before the stream happened.
Ah.
I think I muted everything, but
Well, I didn't hear
say.
anything, so yeah. Mr. D, do you want to take the Smash stuff?
Okay.
And then we're skipping the
I
other
wanted
news.
to take the
Do you
Smash.
can if you want.
What if Lucy wants?
Didn't want
Do
to
you
put
want-
the new people on the spot, but you
Yeah,
can.
ever think about
Do you
other
want?
views in the channel?
I can take it. If
Okay.
I'm not
You're welcome
offended
to
by
it.
me usurping. I also have no idea how that game is pronounced, so we're gonna butcher that right off the block.
Sweet.
Smash Bros. Logo sorta spotted in Shantae 5 trailer. Rumors break the internet. Just yesterday, WayForward revealed the beautiful opening animation for Shantae 5, which was created by Studio Trigger. It's a really vivacious piece of work, enough to perk up a person's day. But the internet is full of eagle-eyed people who won't stop at just going, "Ooh, yes, nice teaser." Nope. People just have to freeze frame the video and notice one thing: a freaking window that is shaped nearly identically to the Super Smash Bros. Logo. Check it out yourself. We'll find it somewhere. To be clear, the window is not the same logo as the Smash Bros. Logo. It's actually been flipped. You can check out the real series logo if you've ever seen anything of Smash Bros. But that isn't stopping a lot of Twitter from losing their marbles over this blink and you'll miss it moment. Personally, I think the case of the almost logo showing up in the Shantae 5 opening animation is just a big coincidence. I have a hard time imagining WayForward whispering in Studio Trigger's ear to hide a facsimile of the Super Smash Bros. Logo somewhere in their 30 seconds of animation. Of course, I could be wrong. I was absolutely convinced we would not see Banjo in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and we all know how that turned out. So hey, Shantae fans, don't give up. Cross your fingers and hope that I'm 0 for 2 for my predictions.
Why are you laughing?
Super for Smash.
Is it because of the
It's too black.
Shantae? Shantae?
Sorry.
Shantae?
I'm losing it over here, guys.
Shantae.
Laurelian
just-
Sheep
oh.
just super chatted $2 as a penalty for a TGA bringing a non-banana food item.
How could
Legitimately,
you do
my
this?
eyes just
Penalty.
like started watering up because I just wanted to just start laughing.
Penalty.
The penalty is I will give you money.
Yeah. But to
Thank you.
Jesse.
Thank you for the $2.
Well, I guess, yeah, he does support me, so he's like, huh, I'll give money somewhere else.
That's so funny.
Oh my goodness.
But I've actually heard a lot of people say they would love Shantae in Smash. I have no idea who
She'd
she
be
is, but
It's
She's a genie.
Yeah.
She'd be a unique
Oh.
character to have, but I definitely
she's
don't
the
think
half
that's
genie
the logo.
hero, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
I
think-
think she could get in.
Oh, sure. We need an indie rep, you know. But I don't think that logo is like a sly hint or whatever.
Oh, no,
You don't think
not
that was
at all.
purposefully done?
No. No.
I feel it was 100% on purpose because one, it's either a subtle tease, or two, they just want to troll everyone. But either way, I think it is 100% on purpose.
Yeah,
It's
I'd do
good
it for the troll
publicity.
factor.
That's what you think it is.
Yeah.
No
Um,
such thing as bad publicity.
I
Yes, there is.
think that it's a coincidence, and a lot of people on Twitter, as mentioned, were totally losing their minds about this. And actually, some of the bigger Shantae, I think that's what it's spelled.
Shantae, yeah.
Yeah, Shantae. Like a lot of those
Something like
fans
that.
were saying that, like this isn't like a mystery window. Like apparently this is a thing that already exists. So people are losing their minds over nothing. I don't know anything about this game. I'm not a
Oh,
big
so it's
follower
like
over it.
a window in our house that we've already seen before.
Yeah, like that's
in
to
previous
my
Shantae
understanding. Yeah, this is just a
Okay.
window. People are like, yeah, that's a window, and then the entire Smash logo thing became a giant meme. And now everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's not just.
Do you remember, like last year when Smash Bros. Ultimate was coming out, a kid drew the symbol on the chalkboard,
Oh,
Yeah.
and they thought it was like a,
Oh,
a
yeah.
gun warning or something that someone was going to shoot up the
Uh-huh.
school, and the kid's like, no, it's Smash Bros. Like,
mhm,
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
remember that.
yeah.
But anyways, so
Maybe Smash needs a new logo. Oh no.
Yeah,
No,
Nintendo, get it
doesn't.
together.
It's a good logo. It's really a good logo, but just people are confused. That's my point.
If you don't know the game, then yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
so you guys think it's just coincidence then?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ain't no thing.
I mean, if she shows up, cool. But
Sweet.
I don't
Who
know anything about her, but
But
who
they
do you,
should wait till the banjo hype dies down, because no one's gonna care. It's banjo.
no, she would be completely overshadowed.
Yeah,
Completely
actually, like
buried alive.
the hero, I think that is.
Mhm.
Totally
Yeah.
forgot about him. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, cool, Smash announcement, and then Banjo happened, and I was like, nothing else happened in this direct. Nothing.
Poor
Not even
Dragon
Animal
Quest.
Crossing.
Poor Dragon Quest.
Yeah. And then Bill Trennan tweeting out about Dragon Quest, and I'm like, yo, Bill Trennan is tweeting about Dragon Quest right now when like Breath of the Wild 2 was just announced and Banjo was just revealed for Smash, and he's on Twitter
He's
like,
trying.
play Dragon Quest. Bill, get your act together, man.
I felt like they were trying to give us a heart attack at the end of that
They were.
direct because they were like, here's Banjo. Oh, by the way, before you start trying to calm down about Banjo, here's a sequel to one of the most beloved games of late ever.
Mhm.
So, like, we were all like, Banjo, Banjo, wait, no, wait! I can't!
Yep.
Does this mean Ilya finally gets to join playing Smash with us?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
If I have the money, I'll try and get it. Because
That's a yes.
I'm gonna get Link's Awakening, obviously, in September.
Yeah, that's Matt.
you need to pre-order so you get that bonus stuff.
Yeah, I do want Dreamer Edition. But I don't understand why North America has less than the European version.
Well,
Well, we got
Breath of
more
the
in
Well,
the
there's-
Wild, we got
past.
more.
There's two
Yeah.
European versions. There's one that comes with the rupee lamp, which I think was something that they sold on its own anyways. And then they have the weird version that has all the cool stuff.
And you're right,
Yeah.
they got a weird version of Breath of the Wild. I looked at that cover and I was like, oof, ours is better.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's like
What were we
the
talking about?
the piggy version of A Link to the Past. No, Ocarina of Time is super ugly
Ooh.
because it's like the
Ooh.
background with the gold Zelda logo, and it just looks
Yeah.
horrible. The other versions are like the normal one. But anyways, now that Banjo, mostly everyone's dream Smash character is officially announced.
Yeah.
Starting with TGA. Is there anyone else that you want?
I mean, that was the one character I was like, hey, I might actually consider getting Smash if this was put in kind of as like a joke. Like, it's not going to get put in, so I'll never consider getting Smash. And then he was put in, and I was like, oh shoot. Now I don't know what to do. I mean, everyone's answer is get Smash. That's the answer. But I'm trying to think like other
non-Nintendo character.
A ton. Yeah, it would have to be non-Nintendo. I feel like haven't all of their DLC been non-primary Nintendo characters? I mean, Piranha Plant is different, but
Yeah, but Piranha Plant was free DLC. So.
Right. So paid DLC, they've all been non-Nintendo. So I'm trying to think, because I don't play many non-Nintendo, like pretty much none. So I'm like, okay. Yeah, I don't think I have anything. I mean, I'm not attached to these games, but I was like, I know a lot of people want Spyro or Crash Bandicoot. So I don't know. I just want Banjo the game to come to Switch now.
Well, it's coming to PC, so.
No.
Yeah. It's on.
What we asked for.
It's part of the Xbox games thing.
I already played it on my computer.
Yeah, and they're also releasing it on PC. So if you get the subscription on PC, then you get the game for free. So I was thinking about doing that just to play it on PC. But
I
anyways,
just emulated it, but we ran into issues with Banjo-Tooie, so.
Chubes, is there a non-Nintendo character that you would want?
Bomberman.
Ooh, that's a good one. He's already an assist trophy, though.
I know. Remove him from his assist trophy.
I don't think Nintendo likes Konami enough to add.
Okay, I didn't know my answer, but if we're allowed to list guys that are assist trophy dead, I want Shovel.
Shovel Knight.
Give me Shovel Knight.
I thought you would say Shovel Knight because he already has an amiibo, or the other one. The one that you were playing in the bedroom
Hollow
in
Knight?
LA. Yes, that night. Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight's good.
Shovel Knight or Hollow Knight?
How vague is that? It's like that game that you were playing in the bedroom that one night in LA.
Well, because it was yeah, it was like midnight. Daniel was on a Switch, like we were all going to bed. Instead of going to sleep, he pulls out a Switch to play for like an hour, and I'm like, Daniel, what are you playing? And he's like, Hollow Knight. I'm like, cool. So I just rolled over.
Cool in Smash too. Yeah, the Knight in Hollow Knight. I don't think he's called the. I haven't finished the game yet. I don't think he's called the Hollow Knight.
Well, Shovel Knight, they have the
everything's
like
super vague.
Spectre Knight, and
Yeah.
who's the King Knight? Royal. I don't know what it's called.
Knight, King Knight, Plague Knight. Plague Knight's my favorite, but they would all be fun in Smash, actually.
Yeah. Lucy,
Yeah.
who's your person? Is it Harry Potter?
Honestly,
Come to
no.
Smash. Did you know
Maybe.
Nintendo at one point, like between the no, this is relevant.
You don't get the answer.
No. It popped in my head. I feel Harry Potter was almost purchased by Nintendo.
It's true. It did nearly happen.
Yeah. And then
I love
Nintendo
Nintendo and I love Harry Potter, but no.
It was before, I think it was before the books were made into movies, and at the last moment, Nintendo thought that it wouldn't be worth as much, so they passed on purchasing it to make games off of it, and then the movies came out, and the movies made like billions of dollars.
Big oof.
Yeah.
That's like Nintendo not buying Rare all over
Oh.
again.
Yeah. So, in a better timeline, Harry Potter would be in Smash Bros.
Instead of Rob.
Yeah. So, anyways, Lucy.
That we're not suggesting Shrek for Smash.
No, don't
No.
see anything but Shrek.
Am I good? Are you gonna let me talk?
Yeah.
Jesse? Yeah, good. Probably.
So,
someone from
Daniel,
Undertale.
what did you have for dinner today?
Okay, bye.
No! No, Jesse, what have you done?
I don't. That time it was a
Although
joke.
I'm
it
liking
was
the
a bad
cat
joke.
picture.
He is my son.
Cat for
His name's
president.
Flynn.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Yeah, Jesse.
Because they turned me into a cat. No, with the
Jesse,
cat.
you're my son.
It's complicated.
So,
Jesse's
Undertale.
family.
Anyways, Undertale.
Go on.
Undertale. I'm afraid.
Here, I'll mute.
Okay, so. Oh, good. Thanks, Jesse. A lot of people, from what I've heard, really want Sans or Metaton from Undertale, but honestly, I want Burger Pants. Give me Burger Pants.
Burger
Smash.
Pants.
Burger Pants. What about
There's
Long
a
Doggo?
character. There's a character called Burger Pants.
There is a character called Burger Pants.
It's Daniel's spirit
This
animal.
changes everything. I have not played Undertale yet, so
I
don't
think
hate
Burger
me. but
Pants is a cat.
That's
Burger
even
Pants
better.
is also, yes, he's some sort of cat-like creature.
A very weird looking cat.
Hmm
Looks like he works at a weird sandwich that's
He
shaped
works
like
at a burger
sword
joint.
shop.
I gotta
Works at a
find this.
burger joint.
You wouldn't
who
think that
drew-
they'd pick from Undertale like the player character?
Who drew this poor animal?
It was
Somebody
Jesse.
help Burger Pants.
Oh, that's disturbing.
But the thing about the playable character is depends on which route you take in the actual Undertale game. So it'd be fine if they had both the playable and the genocide route version, but otherwise, if you go the pacifist route, it's a non-violent character, so a lot of people don't want that.
Fair.
Cool. Cool. I like that you picked a character that wasn't a main character.
And that wasn't Sans.
Big approve.
Plus, I gotta love Burger Pants. I really do.
If not for the name. That alone
Also
just
for the weird
sells me
face.
on the whole.
Jesse, you
Sure.
can come back now.
Cool. I
I also want to change mine.
Okay, change yours.
Okay.
Change it.
I'm
I
tweeting
don't know
out
if this counts
the
because I
podcast.
think she's technically still an independent person. What about Cadence?
Oh yeah.
Probably
That's
not
a good-
likely, but if there's a character that's not not a main Nintendo character that I would consider, I guess would probably be her. That's all I can think of. Okay, now I'm done.
Cool.
What attacks would she have? Would she still
Shovel.
attack to the
Shovel.
rhythm?
Poke.
Poke.
Poke with shovel.
Wait, so did you play Cadence? Who all played Cadence?
I haven't finished it. I haven't even
not
done a
finished.
single dungeon, but I've been playing it.
Have you?
Because I keep dying.
Same, actually. Same. I'm really bad at it, but I really want to
too.
keep. But I've got so many games. I'm like multitasking,
Yeah.
and Mario Maker just came out and it's taking up all my time.
Did you play it,
And
Troops?
I'm like so tempted to turn off the music thing, even though I love that mechanic.
Cadence of Hyrule. Yeah, I played it.
Mhm.
I stopped at the
And
last
then?
boss, as I always do, because it's just how I am when I play video games.
Why'd
Yeah.
you do this?
I did that in Blossom Tales. Got to the last boss. Stopped playing.
I hate it. You make me really upset when you say things like,
This is why we can't be friends.
I thought we were.
Alright. Are we ready for the next one?
What are we?
I like.
The
Ready
next
for
one
friendship?
is the reviews. So what's gonna happen, I posted the screenshot because I couldn't copy and paste them. So, Daniel,
Yeah.
or really anyone that has the Discord, I posted the screenshots that has the reviews. So we're going to read two of them. The one that we have here,
Oh. Yes.
which is claimed by Lucy, and someone else can read one of the other reviews from the
where is it?
screenshot. I posted it in scripts, I think. Like whatever the bottom chat
Oh.
is on the Discord.
Got it.
We are. The Google
So-
Docs one.
I will do the intro, and then whoever wants to read it can, and then Lucy will read the second one.
Great.
So, do you guys know which of you will read it?
I
Sure.
can.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Well, hello everyone. I am Jesse, or 𝐴𝐻𝐼𝐺𝐬. Here with us is basically everyone. It's been a long time since we've had the entire podcast together, but something new. It's also kind of old, I guess. We returned to iTunes. So a lot of people were asking to put the podcast back up in audio form because they can't listen to YouTube while they're on the road. And instead of downloading it, did you know there were people like going to those websites, like those third-party websites, to download the podcast so that they could rip the audio themselves and listen to it?
What?
Or
It's dedication.
yeah.
But then we don't get the views, guys.
So there were people going very far out of their way to listen to the podcast. And it just so happened around the same time we were told that we would get a lot more benefits if we treated the podcast as an actual podcast instead of just YouTube videos. So we took the advice, and yeah, now we're back on iTunes and Spotify and probably more places soon as I end up not being as lazy. But because we are back on iTunes, we need your help getting to 50 reviews on iTunes. So if you look up the Hylian Gamescast or 𝐴𝐻𝐼𝐺𝐬, you might come across like the Spawnwave podcast or some others that I've been a guest on. But don't click on those. Click on the Hylian Gamescast, because we need your help more than they do. And if you leave a nice review for us, we will read it out on the podcast. Every podcast, we're going to be reading 2 or 3 different reviews. Today, since we have sort of a long podcast, we're going to be reading 2. So, starting us off with the podcast review, who's it going to be? Ilya?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
Okay, so this review comes from someone named Colin, a group of very hardworking content creators that know everything there is to know about The Legend of Zelda and all other Nintendo IPs. No other creators on the internet come close to the sheer amount of theories and ideas that these group of friends come up with. Stay awesome, guys. We will stay awesome. We'll do our best.
Isn't that just so heartwarming?
Yay.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, Lucy, do you want to take yours?
I would love to. This one is from Torn in Print. There wasn't enough room in the comment section on YouTube for me to express my gratitude for how awesome it was to watch this interview. I learned so much from Grant about his creative process, his insight into the gaming industry, and just more about his life. As Grant is someone I've always looked up to, this interview was a truly memorable and special experience. Jesse, your questions that you asked were so in-depth and thoughtful, which made the interview even better. Thanks so much for the video, and keep up the great work. Smiley face.
That was, yay! That's from when we interviewed Grant Kirkhope, for those who are like, who's Grant?
Yeah.
And Jesse asked really good questions, and I had the DK rap. So that
I was listening to that podcast today on the way home because I wasn't there for it because my life is just like that. And oh my gosh, Grant is just such a cool guy.
very
So
good, very cool
chill.
guy,
Yeah.
very modest guy, very.
Yeah, very humble.
Yeah.
He definitely
Yeah.
said shit like 100 times, but
He definitely
So
did.
since the reviews are a lot smaller than I thought they were, Daniel Choops, do you guys want to read one as well, since they only take like 30 seconds?
Yeah, sure. Well, this
Some
one
of
is from, I
them
don't know what this
contain
username
more,
is.
so might have to look up the actual interview or
Yeah,
comment.
true. Well, here's one from Tevi, who has been a longtime supporter of ours. He writes, fantastic. The group is a great bunch to listen to. They all bring such interesting topics to the forefront and always find a way to make me laugh. Glad I can listen to this whenever I want now. That was a shorter one, but thanks, Tevi, for the
is,
5-star.
is Daniel
Look
cutting
at-
out for everyone else, or is that just
Oh,
me?
no.
No,
Oh, that's just me.
Oh,
Daniel,
okay, it's
our
just you.
Our computers don't like each other.
We don't.
Do you have
You
one
guys
picked
just
out,
like
Choops?
Just like ourselves. We just don't like. Since we're apparently not friends.
Do you have one, Choops?
Read it.
Yeah, I can read this one. I don't think anyone read this one. I think it's from. I'm assuming this says Gil, or it just says GL. I'm not sure. This podcast is the best to catch up on all the gaming news and rumors. Great to listen to when on a drive or when running some errands. The crew is amazing and give you a good laugh when talking about everything Nintendo and gaming.
Oh,
That's so nice.
Oh my
they're
god.
all so nice.
Bless you to that person.
Yeah, whoever that was.
I don't know who.
The ghost who lives in my basement.
Oh,
Nice.
what's his name?
You know, I haven't asked him yet.
Oh, okay. Alright.
So-
is he a friendly ghost?
As far as
Jesse,
I
you
know,
keep trying to change the topic here, but I want to know more about the ghosts.
I'm sorry.
Probably a spider that just sneezed.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
it was a big spider.
How
It
big?
got Gigantamaxed or whatever it is.
Dynam. Gigantamax?
I don't remember.
know.
I don't remember what it's called.
So Jesse, you were gonna say.
Yeah,
before
so
I was
the
rude.
no, I was the rude one. The next
That's
topic,
okay. He
I
can
thought
get
it
interrupted.
I thought it would
Oh,
be
okay.
fun to talk about some of our predictions from the E3 video and how correct or wrong we were. And then each of us give a crazy prediction 1 year in advance for E3. So,
Gosh.
yeah. So think of a crazy prediction completely in left field for next year's E3. And then, yeah. All right. So a few weeks before E3 officially began, Daniel, the Geek Apprentice, and I had a podcast where we gave some of our predictions for the Nintendo E3. Some of it was wrong, some of it was correct, and some of it was just completely bizarre, crazy ideas. And although Lucy and Tubes were not on that episode, they're going to be joining us to give a crazy off-the-wall prediction for next year's 2020 E3. So, Daniel, why don't you go ahead and tell us what your 3 predictions were, your thoughts on them after a few weeks have passed since E3.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, 2 out of not bad. I'm just gonna say. So my 3 pre-E3 predictions were one was show us some Animal Crossing, which they did. Number 2 was the announcement of a second Fighter Pass DLC character for Smash, which I guess I kind of got right twice because they gave us 2 of them. And my third one was Metroid Prime 4. I wanted to see just something for it, and I think I acknowledged at the time that it was kind of a pipe dream prediction because I didn't think they would, but I just really wanted it. And that was also the one that was not true. They did not give us any Metroid. Just radio silence for Metroid fans, but still, yeah, those were my things. So am I giving my off E3 2020 prediction now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say they're gonna give us a 2-minute trailer for Breath of the Wild 2. Just a trailer. They're not releasing the game, but they're gonna give us a nice trailer for that game.
Okay.
That's not really off the wall.
It could be, because they could just give us a 10-second clip, and then they're like, and by the way, you're never gonna play this game for the next 10 years, like they did for the first game. So
Do you remember
they gave us 10 seconds of footage a year.
there was the New York Comic-Con a few years ago that Nintendo made a huge deal about them being there? They were planning on showing off something big. Everyone thought it was going to be Zelda Wii U. And then Alan Numa had an interview where he said, yeah, we brought a new trailer to show off for Comic-Con, but we decided that it didn't represent what we wanted to show off in the game.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I'm like, then why did you make it and bring it here if it's not what you wanted to show?
You got cold.
so rude.
Yeah, maybe it was like an hour. Like they rendered out the video, and then an hour later they were like, hey, let's change this. And the thing they changed completely took out the entire purpose of whatever was in the trailer. I don't know. But Geek Apprentice, what did you have 4 here because you gave your 3rd and then you wanted to change it or something, so I just went ahead and put the 4th down as well.
I do that sometimes. So I got a couple right. I said release date and or news on Cadence of Hyrule, which we did get the release date. It was 2 days from that announcement.
Yeah,
Birthday?
sure was.
Yes, it
still
was
win.
on Lucy's birthday.
Happy
It still
belated.
counts. The cadence thing still counts.
Yeah, that was a win for you.
I said something more about Pokemon Sword and Shield, which we had like just had a direct the week before. So they didn't say anything in the direct, did they?
They had some gameplay they showed after
They had
the direct.
the treehouse.
Yeah, they had Treehouse stuff, but that was kind of. I was thinking more of the direct itself. I
No,
think
they
when I
left
said
all
that.
for the one before E3 direct.
Right.
It all counts
So-
as E3.
They showed some new stuff.
Like, Daniel,
Some-
Yeah.
some
would you say
character
they showed off Metroid at E3?
I would say they did not.
No, not
Because they
not
didn't even
Prime
say the
4.
word Metroid.
Metroid Samus Returns.
Oh,
or
they
Return of
did
Samus.
show that at not this E3.
Yeah, but it was as soon as the E3 Direct ended, they showed it.
Yeah.
So would you still
Right when
say that
everything
was
stopped
E3?
Yes, it occurred at like literally on the show floor of E3. They played it. So we're handing you a win, Ilya.
Okay,
Geek.
I'll take it.
TGA.
Oh, they had
I'm just
the
gonna call you Pancake from now on, just because TGA
no
just
waffles.
does not roll up. The
Waffles
tongue.
are bitter.
Waffles are better. Okay, Lucy's waffles and Ilya's pancake.
Can I do French toast?
No.
No.
Oh, French
okay.
toast is my
Lucy's still
favorite.
Lucy.
Um,
Ilya is still pancake. Okay.
Yeah, so anyways, Geek Apprentice, hi. For anyone wondering, that's why we've been calling her, or I've been calling her Geek, because it's a shorter version of Geek Apprentice, which is her YouTube
Not just
name.
bullying her like he bullied me before.
No, I like being a geek. It's who I am. I'm partially a nerd too, but depends. Really depends. So, what else did I say? I said Animal Crossing release date, and that it wouldn't be released during the winter. I was right. We did get a release date, and it ended up being spring of next year, delayed. I think I had also mentioned I had a feeling it might be delayed, and it was. March 20th, which, as much as I hate that, at the same time, I want the game to be great, so that's fine. Whatever they gotta do.
And based on their reasoning, totally okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. And they said they still actually have a lot to do, and I'm like, that's fine. Make this game great, I need it.
Mhm.
We need it. But we want it to be good. And then the last thing, this was definitely like it wasn't even like, oh, I really want this as much as it was, I'm just gonna throw it out there. Something Double Dash related, which obviously didn't happen, but I was like, who knows, maybe they'll bring that back one day. So yeah. Oh, and then I have to say my random E3 prediction for next year. This is off the wall. I really don't think this would happen, but I would love it if it did. A bundle pack of Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie on the Switch, and then an announcement of an actual Banjo 3E. That would be great.
Okay, pancake wins. You've won.
If that happened,
That would be amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Nintendo fans were in an uproar with Banjo being announced in Smash. If they said, by the way, we're going to give you those 2 games back on the Switch, and you're finally going to get 3E, I think we would all die then and there.
Been
And then
there.
have to resurrect ourselves so we can play it.
Yeah.
Eatus.
Been there, done that. Dying from excitement, and then. Well, so Jess, it's your turn, my friend.
So my first one was 3 Zelda games will be shown. Number 2, Detective Pikachu on Switch. And then number 3 was Metroid Prime Trilogy, and then I changed it to a Zelda collection. And neither of those were correct, but I think we all got 2 out of 3, technically.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're all tied. We're all losers. High five.
Yeah.
But my crazy thing will be next year at E3, 3 Zelda games will be shown off.
That's just the same thing.
Doing it again.
Yeah.
mean,
Specifically,
maybe.
Breath of the Wild, a new Switch remake, and another spin-off. Whether it's a third-party spin-off or that mobile Zelda game that they were talking about.
Keep Zelda off mobile.
Please.
But yeah, that's mine. Jubes, do you have a crazy prediction?
Cool. Lucy.
Boo! Let a girl think. Come on. I was gonna say probably like a Zelda port to Switch, because I feel like we haven't seen one in a while. It'd be nice to see a port over. And then I was gonna say maybe a new IP. I feel like it's been a while.
Ooh.
How long can Nintendo really go without a new IP?
Does Town count as a new IP? Or do you mean a different one?
Yeah.
No, wait, they said Town. They said the other team was working on Town, but they also said the other team was working on games for other hardware. Does that mean Town's going to be on, like, PlayStation and Xbox?
But is Town actually like a Nintendo game, or is that
It's
a
Game Freak.
But it's gonna be on Nintendo.
Yeah, but they said the other team, which happened to be the team that was working on Town, was working on other hardware.
I don't know how I feel about Town.
I have very few thoughts about it, to be honest.
I'm intrigued, but I need to know more.
It could come out and be amazing. Oh, well, I'll just reserve my judgment then. But
Alright. Lucy, do you have a crazy prediction?
My crazy prediction: that Nintendo's gonna get the rights to Harry Potter.
that is a crazy.
Many years too late, but they're gonna do it.
Harry Potter Lego on the Switch.
Well, there is the Harry Potter game that they're working on. That's supposed to come out next year or the year after. It's supposed to be like a super realistic Harry Potter game. Yeah. It's being worked on by the people from WB that worked on Arkham Origins, the Batman game, I think.
Okay. Wasn't that Arkham Origins? Wasn't that?
It was the one that wait, you cut out.
Wasn't Arkham Origins the bad one?
It wasn't bad, it was just that it wasn't made by Rocksteady, which made the other games. It was made by WB's group. It was actually one of my favorites because it also happened to be the origin story for Batman. And being the origin story, I felt it had a way better story than the other games. It was just it didn't really offer anything new. Because like the first one released and it was like the first good comic book game that people liked for that generation of consoles. And then the second one released and it had a bigger world with a bunch of new ideas and stuff. And then Origins released and it was just the same thing again, because it was on the same engine. And then they went on and made Arkham Knight, which gave us it was Grand Theft Auto Batman for some reason, because you could just ride around in the Batmobile and blow things up, and it was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. I really only
Wild
played the first two though,
description
and I
Yeah.
really liked the first one better, even though it wasn't like open.
Yeah, it was very Zelda-esque with like the dungeon
Yeah.
puzzles and stuff.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Man.
Tubes, do you want to do the mailbag? Start us off with the mailbag.
Do the thing now.
Everyone has their things color coded
Yeah.
as well.
You want me to start? Wait, do we have an intro
Do-
for our
No,
mailbag?
you just do
You're the
the
intro.
you do the thing, and then you can
Do
either
an intro.
we can either pick the ones that we color coordinated, or if we see one from the live chat that we would like to replace it with, then we can do that.
Yeah.
So, Tubes,
Yeah, tubes.
I don't know if I remember how our intro starts.
just be like, hey guys,
Just saying.
Yeah.
my name's
okay.
Tubes.
This is an intro.
One
right,
banana
alright.
gets your question answered.
One banana.
$1 gets a banana.
Singular banana. It's more expensive. Actually, it's about the same price as platinum.
$20 gets you a.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 91 of the Hylian Gamescast. I am joined by the Geek Apprentice, Lucy. Do we just call you Lucy?
Yep.
All right. Kat Bergerson and 𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺𝐸, and we are
Hello.
going to do the mailbag. So these are all questions that we answer from you guys that tweet or Discord question or any of our Patreons. All of your questions get answered by us. And of course, you guys ask a lot of questions. We don't have time to get through all of them, so we will get through as many as we can. And if you have any burning questions, go ahead and super chat them while we're going through, and we'll get to that question right away. I will go ahead and start. And the question that I picked, because I was smart and did my homework earlier, is from GamerBud. Do you think it would be cool / possible to see Navi return in Breath of the Wild 2 as a great fairy, hence it being thousands of years after Ocarina of Time? I picked this question because I'm weird. I would love to see
gonna
Navi
make it weird.
reimagined. I would love it. Same
This is
annoying,
gonna get
same annoying
lewd.
Navi we know.
It's gonna get real lewd, isn't it?
You know what? I'll tell you what. People that are watching and they know what kind of person I am, and they know that there's a reason why I do uncensored and uncut, and there's a reason why my streams aren't entirely PG. Just imagine Navi redone for Breath of the Wild.
Mm-mm.
The fairies in Majora's Mask were scary enough.
Okay, but is it because it's been thousands of years? Do fairies just like continue growing in size for thousands of years until they become great fairies? Is that why? Is that the thought behind this, or?
You know what? Now that I think about this, the entire fairy thing is really weird. How come there are so many different kinds of fairies in Legend of Zelda?
The horse fairy was scary.
You have you
Yes.
have great
Yes.
fairies. You have fairies that can magically just like talk to you. You have other fairies that are just used primarily for healing you. Game's got a weird thing about fairies.
The man / boy cave sent us a super chat because I want synchronized banana eating. Don't disappoint me. And don't is in all caps. So it's like, don't disappoint me.
Weird.
Like, they could,
Definitely going to have to reverse that and get back to you.
that's $5 for bananas.
I don't have bananas.
I don't have
I don't have
bananas either.
bananas either.
I have a banana.
I have a banana. I could get it.
My entire fridge is a brick of cheese,
Nice.
3 pieces of bread,
Oh.
margarine, singular cucumber, and frozen fruit.
But what kind of cheese?
We had this conversation. You know what kind of cheese I have already.
But what
Anyways.
brand?
Oh, I got the one that was on sale.
Oh my god. I can't believe you.
Anyways, do you guys have any other crazy thoughts about my weird fairy thing that I decided to talk about?
Yeah, you're weird, man.
I don't think she will, but I think it would be cool if she was referenced. If they were like, oh, this fairy statue's here because of the fairy that helped save the world with the hero of time or whatever. Because all the other fairies, like, what do they do? Nothing? Like the one is with that kid that just spends the whole game trying to pick up a rock, and he never even does it?
Yeah, see,
It's true.
that's what I'm confused about. We have the great fairies, we have the random fairies that follow people around and apparently talk to them, and then we have the fairies that you use only for healing. What's the difference between the fairies that you have with you and the fairies you use for healing?
Genetics. There's a class system
healing
based on
ones are
fairy
pink.
race. Yeah, all the healing fairies are pink. The companion fairies all come in different
Like
in
blue
different like
and green.
colors.
Oh my
blue,
gosh.
green,
And then the great
gold.
fairies can apparently separate into like 20 smaller fairies.
Yeah, seriously.
I thought they
I
just
just-
spawn the smaller fairies.
I
Like, they just are like,
realized-
No,
Three
in
of
Majora's Mask, you have
You
to
know.
find the ones in the dungeons.
oh, the straight fairies. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, and in that one there's gold fairies, Tattle, and like dark purple/black fairies and Tail.
There's the emo fairy.
See, but those fairies have a
You know.
purpose, because you collect those fairies to get to the great.
No, to recreate the great fairy got split
Yeah.
into like 20 straight fairies. It's all weird, but they look
Also-
different too. They're not
Yeah,
all
they have
glowy.
like faces and it's creepy, and their bodies
Yeah,
move like this. as
super
they're
And they make
walking
that weird
around.
noise.
Cheap super chat says $2 to say,
Something like
hey,
that.
listen, want me to upgrade your armor?
Yes, I do.
I love it.
Cost me a lot.
Daniel, do you have your question?
Sure. So we're not doing this banana thing.
None of us have bananas except for like 3 of you.
Too, but
And I don't like
okay.
bananas; they make me gag.
Oh, maybe you're doing it wrong.
You don't eat the...
You're supposed to chew your food.
Can we move on?
Because I'm repulsed by the taste.
I was gonna say, he probably doesn't like the texture, Daniel.
Okay, all right.
It's true.
So, here's a question from Chrissy G, not the other Chrissy, I guess.
She
Chrissy
plays
G,
Fortnite
yeah.
with us.
Why
Her-
does Zelda have the whole complete Triforce in Breath of the Wild? How did she get it? So my thought is that that just it was in possession of the royal family, possibly. It was just one of those "it dwells within you" deals. I don't know. I've got nothing beyond that. The Triforce is not talked about very much in Breath of the Wild, so
Yeah.
it's hard to say why. But she definitely does have the entire 3 pieces.
I wonder if that's probably something they just kind of overlooked when they were doing the game, and there was one of those like the Triforce is included in all Zelda games, and they're probably like, yeah, this is a thing. We don't really touch base on it, so maybe people will forget about it for this game. And then when they're doing the final touches, they're like, yep, good to go. And then us crazy people that are paying too much attention to what's going on in the game, we're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably they didn't think about it too much.
She has the Triforce because the plot calls for it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
they're gonna fit it into the timeline somehow.
Ilya, do you have a question?
I have many questions, but anyway, okay. I had an answer for this, and now I'm gonna have to remember it. Fry Guy asks, "What game mechanic would you like to see in Breath of the Wild?" I mean, there are many things. I'm like, do I want to go silly or do I want to go legit? I'll go silly. I want to pet the freaking dogs.
Yeah,
That's all I want to know.
pet the dog.
In
I had another
Twilight,
thing, but it's not a game mechanic as much as something I want to be a thing in the game.
Twilight Princess lets you play fetch with the dog in Hyrule
You
Castle.
hold the cats, but you
You
hold
pick
them like
them up.
this, really awkwardly.
He's afraid.
That's not how you
No,
hold cats.
he'll hold the cats and dogs up
Which is not how I hold my cats.
against him.
In
She's probably going to
Ocarina,
get her cat.
he holds the dogs above his. No, he doesn't hold the dog.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. And they're like walking on his head like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just picks the dog.
His arms are so short because it should be up here, but they're like right here. I'm like, how short are Link's arms?
I thought the one dog had to follow you though.
But it would still be like at least here, even on a child.
True.
This is the kind of thing where Nintendo doesn't expect people to think about it, and then we think about it.
Oh, Kitty has joined the stream.
Yeah.
Sweet babe.
Oh,
Sweet.
Flynn is so good.
He's the goodest boy.
Oh, don't get me started, man. I'm gonna start crying.
Daniel's the goodest boy.
God, I'm already crying.
Wind Waker lets you hold a pig,
And
That's true.
throw it.
throw it in the ocean.
I can't throw it.
You can throw a pig in the ocean. That's a benefit.
I'd rather just make bacon out of it, but you know.
You can't say that. Daniel's a vegetarian.
That's
You have
not
to
a
be
rule.
careful around
Don't worry, that's not a rule.
You're gonna set up some sort of weird, like, visceral hunger in him for bacon.
What?
The guy who literally calls himself Capt Burgerson. I mean, there's veggie burgers, but
Beyond meat. Done.
Beyond burgers are good.
I was gonna say, back on topic here.
Yeah.
yeah.
Lucy.
Game mechanics.
I feel like I can't
Oh.
remember if this
Oh,
was something
okay.
that we were talking about on a stream, or if this was a fever dream, or it was a conversation that we had while we were playing.
Could be
Could
all
be any
those
of the
things.
three. Could be all of them. I remember at some point we were talking about how amazing the fighting mechanics were in Twilight Princess, and I would love to take a step back and maybe experience that again.
You know where we had that conversation? Drunk on my couch.
Actually,
Yes.
see, I knew
remember
the
this?
conversation happened, but I couldn't remember where.
It was when we were hanging out with Matt, and I schooled everyone. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
but anyway,
Sounds like a night.
it was actually a very fun night of just
Good
hanging
night.
out with friends, playing video games.
Good night.
It was a good time.
Yeah, that's what I would like
Yes.
to see.
Good game mechanics.
Good.
Just
Good
just give me climbing gloves that don't make you slip when you're like you can make it in like
That's-
hard to
yeah.
climbing gloves and it's like these are non-slip gloves. You don't slip in the rain anymore. That's all I need.
I'll take
That's-
special abilities.
Don't give me fighting and then give me Wii Motion Plus app. That's all I'm asking.
Mhm.
Sorry. Anyways, it's fine. My peanuts.
You're what?
What?
Peanut. Oh my god.
Like the
Lucy,
gallery.
do you have a question? You had a question picked out.
Demonetized.
Who has a question?
You.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one is from Manboy Cave, and it is, which art style for any Zelda game is your favorite and why? And then versus which art style fits the ambiance of the game better. And my personal favorite art style is Twilight Princess. I just think it's unique compared to most of the other ones, and it just sort of fits my aesthetic more. And then, for the other half of the question, I'll let y'all deal with that one.
I say Wind Waker.
Mm.
Has the one that has the music or whatever that matches the most.
Ambiance?
Yeah.
That ambiance. I'm gonna have to go with Breath of the Wild. As a guy who really likes all types of Zelda, Breath of the Wild just really hit a sweet spot. Like I keep like I'll be playing the game and I'll just stop to take in them frequently because it's so beautiful. Like it's just so gorgeous.
It had a really good kind of like in between of being like realistic,
Yeah.
but still cartoony.
Like a real good paint. So, which is a weird way to describe a video game, but not in like Skyward Sword where it was very like I liked style, but it was just very in your face. Like, this is an impressionist painting.
Yeah.
Just like very. Same with Wind Waker. I really like how Wind Waker, but then is just like very cartoon. Like this is cartoon. Breath of the Wild was a nice, like a step in between, and it was just gorgeous. Yeah. So that's where and also the ambiance in that game is really great, especially if you've got some good speakers or headphones.
Yes.
That's all I have to say.
Yes.
Who's next?
Go for it.
Oh, okay.
You're next.
So mine would end up being a tie between Breath of the Wild and Wind Waker. And part of that is because I don't think enough time has passed for me to say what I'm going to say about Wind Waker about Breath of the Wild, and that is it's the art style that ages the best. Because even without the HD remake of Wind Waker, I can go back to the GameCube one and not be like, oh gosh, these are old 2000 something graphics, and it just didn't age well. I'm like, no, it aged pretty well. HD definitely made it look even a little bit better. And I think since they used similar cell shading in Breath of the Wild mixed with more realistic forms, that'll make it age even better, because as much as I love the realistic look just as much, they just look creepy now. I enjoy them because I have nostalgia, but they look creepy now.
Oh, definitely.
And
I like Twilight Princess, but some of the NPCs in that game give me nightmares.
yeah,
Just like
I love
the
that game for nostalgia
like the
purposes.
minor characters.
And gameplay. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
If we're looking at just graphics, it's not my favorite, but like at that time, so heckin' cool. I love it.
Oh yeah, like not to bash the game. I love the game.
No,
Like, the story
yeah.
is one of the best in the series.
Best side character easily. I mean, actually, she is the title character, so. As far as like the graphics fitting the ambiance, because it'll end up being either Wind Waker or Breath of the Wild. I guess I'll go with Wind Waker, and I guess that's based on the music. There are some really dark parts in Wind Waker, but yeah, I'll just leave it at that. That one fits the ambiance best for me.
Chubes,
Also,
did you go?
Minish Cap looks real good. I've been playing that recently.
How did all three of us start talking at the same time?
Because there was a pause.
We're just not connected.
We all thought it was safe.
Been quiet for too long. Everyone talk.
Yeah.
Wait, Kayla, did you answer?
No, but mine is going to be Twilight Princess, because I think we've had this question before.
I think
something
we have,
in regards
yes.
to it, because I know that my answer is going to be very similar, in which Twilight Princess Link is the Link that I've been most attracted to in life.
Wow.
Actually, same. Actually, same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
You're not wrong.
Like, when Twilight
100%.
Princess came out, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in love all over again. Like, I had a crush on him in Ocarina of Time.
Oh, yeah.
It just flourished with Twilight Princess. It just... If
Okay, but
I go back in
Ocarina of
time...
Time, he's a child. You know that, right? Like,
We're talking about adult Link.
Yeah, he's still a child. He just was in a coma for 7 years. He's got the mind of a 10-year-old.
But I was 3 when that game came out.
I was gonna say, first off, I was quite young the first time I played Ocarina of Time. I remember
So was I.
small little Kayla. I might have been like 5 when I started really getting into video games. I routinely had dreams, and the main characters in my dreams, other than me, were Link and Goku.
Wow. Also, actually, I guess I can't judge. I recently unearthed, and by unearthed I mean my mom dropped off a box of it, like old schoolwork and journals and drawing books and stuff from like when I was in kindergarten through grade 6, and there is a lot of Link drawings in those. It's pretty weird.
I have a diary
So-
entry from when I had just learned how to write when I was like 5 or 6, and it's all about my passionate love for Link.
Oh.
Do a dramatic read, but
Oh
I want to
my.
see that happen.
But he wasn't the only one. For some reason, a short period of time, it was Sonic the Hedgehog too.
That took a different turn than I
That
was
was-
anticipating.
Yeah,
I'm
My
like-
first
very
definitely
unexpected.
Shadow, but
I
okay.
thought you were gonna go like Lion King, like Mufasa, like most.
Mufasa, the dad?
Yes, not. You
Simba.
ain't going for Simba, not baby Simba.
No, but grown-up Simba, maybe.
Well,
People in the chat are saying Sidon and adult Ruto.
Sidon is great. We had to explain this to Josh the other. Sidon's he's a big, strong man who believes.
Oh my god.
Who doesn't want that?
He's a fish.
You're missing
Coming from the girl
point.
who said Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
I was like 6 though.
Oh my goodness.
It's been almost 20 years.
Oh no. Clearly, in the Zelda universe, that's just an okay thing. There are like Zora, Hylian, so I mean it's super
Like
weird.
that one in
I
Breath of
never
the
got-
Wild where like the Zora is technically mentally younger than the Hylian because she's a child Zora, but she's also definitely far older, actual timeline wise, than the
Like,
Hylian.
yeah, it's like dog years, but
Yeah.
yeah, like we're the dogs. Oh my god, we're the dogs. Okay.
Lucy, you already. No, that was Lucy's question, so it's my turn.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
already
I've
got.
already answered, buddy.
It's your turn, Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way.
No, I said
I-
Wind Waker. Yes, Choops.
Yeah,
What?
I went, and that's
Yeah.
how I derailed this entire conversation.
I think we're all. What's your question, Jesse?
Oh, my
Your
question.
question.
Are you saying something, Choops?
Yeah,
No, she's
totally
not.
off topic.
Don't worry about.
Daniel! I have decided that after this conversation, I've been trying to figure out which waifu body pillow I want to get.
Oh no.
It's gonna be Link.
A Link
Twilight
pillow?
Princess Link?
Jesse, you should just say your question.
Jonah says, you've probably talked about this, but my question would be, taking into account that Nintendo has been pushing multiplayer recently, as in Luigi's Mansion 3, Animal Crossing, Mario Maker 2, etc., could we be getting a multiplayer Zelda experience in Breath of the Wild 2? I believe Zelda has short hair so that she can have interchangeable clothes just like Link has. And I say yes, because if you look at almost any interview with Aonuma for the past however many years, he's always bringing up what, Daniel?
I'm just agreeing with.
No, what is he bringing up?
Oh, okay. Sorry. He's bringing up how we want to have like a new multiplayer experience, and then like his like these are the conventions we want to change for the next Zelda game. Pre-Breath of the Wild, being a single player experience was one of them. Even though Breath of the Wild was a whole single experience, but we got Triforce Heroes, so there's probably more than just Triforce Heroes, guys. There's got to be more.
Yeah.
Please tell me more. There's more to this than Triforce Heroes. Tell me there's more to this than.
There is.
Oh.
I did a quick Google and I found it. This is a
Oh my
double-sided
goodness.
body pillow, and one side is the other side on. I
Oh
want it.
my word. I hate it. I love it. I can't tell if I hate it or love it. But
Hang it on your
Onuma
wall.
wants to make a multiplayer Zelda, and having like a tag team co-op thing, Breath of the Wild 2 would be really cool. I think we've talked about this a couple times.
Yeah, it's in all of his recent interviews, he mentions different stuff. But one of the most recent things that he mentioned was that he wanted to take the multiplayer from Triforce Heroes and put it in the engine for Breath of the Wild. And then the new president of Nintendo said that they want to put a big focus on online multiplayer and new DLC for old games, which we got already. So now it's just time for the multiplayer stuff. So if you add everything together, yes, Breath of the Wild 2 will be multiplayer. Unless that's the game that Monolith Soft is working on. The multiplayer Zelda. I don't know. Anyways, Daniel, what's your last question?
Question time. This question comes from Manboy Cave, actually. Third question. So he gave us third question. Now that there is a direct sequel confirmed for Breath of the Wild, do you think the producers are going to have future games tied closer together or more closely together? Would you want to see them build on current for a trilogy or offshoot game, or move into a whole new story after this? I've got a great timeline video on my channel, but the whole like they never paid attention to the timeline recently. It's kind of, I think Zelda games have always been pretty, well, maybe with its theme at least, the timeline's always been pretty interconnected from the start. But that said, I do feel like Breath of the Wild is kind of a fresh start for the Zelda series. It's very possible that they're gonna almost build almost like maybe linear there, like no more splits, just Breath of the Wild 1, 2, going just straight forward. I could see that happening very easily. Does Nintendo like? I don't know. Everyone likes a good reboot, I guess, but it's not really a reboot. It's like, I don't know how to explain this. So, but yes, I do think they're gonna be more closely tied together. Since we're getting a direct sequel, I think that's in for that. I don't think it'll necessarily be a trilogy. Kind of be maybe 2 games and then do something else, but it'll still be like tied to what they've established. But yes, word. Anyone else have words?
No, I completely agree.
Oh, good. I made sense. That's a relief.
I think they'll respect the fact that the fans do, or a lot of fans, not all of them, a lot of people don't care about the timeline one way or the other, but those of us that do and are, interested in it, I think it won't be an excessive thing that you think about in excess, but it'll probably be roughly, we're going to just kind of streamline it. We'll make sure that it makes sense, bare minimum that they need to do. But I think they'll cater to that a little bit. They already have by releasing all the books. That's my thought.
It's good thoughts.
Yeah. Tubes, do you have thoughts?
No thoughts.
I am very distracted by a lot of
by
things.
your body pillow research?
Maybe it's...
Oh no.
That being said, based on what I've heard, I would absolutely love for... I feel like, no, like we've done this before, and this is one of those things that I think it would be a really exciting thing to add, but Nintendo still needs to be able to separate a lot of their games and be able to do like single player and multiplayer and have kind of the difference between the two, because like it's a really good option to have multiplayer, but I find that a lot of games that offer multiplayer options or co-op options are actually improved by having a second person. So with that, you start to kind of lose the value of playing a game by yourself. And so I think personally, like, I would rather it not be incorporated in Breath of the Wild, but instead maybe have a standalone game in which they do some sort of multiplayer mechanic, kind of like Four Swords or Triforce Heroes.
So you want Triforce Heroes? Is what
She wants a good Triforce Heroes.
Yeah.
Give me Four Swords.
Yeah, Four Swords is fun.
It was fun.
We
had to parse it, and it was just a terrible idea. But
Lucy, do you have any ideas? Thoughts?
I do, but none of them are relevant.
that's the most relatable thing.
I'm
Okay.
still thinking about the comment someone made about Goron's pooping out. Goron's after eating enough rocks.
Tubes, do you have your second question? Or your final question?
Oh my! Oh wait, no! Wait!
Okay, we're waiting.
Here it is. My good friend, Chris, aka hey, Slime Does Stuff is here. Hello. Anyways, Crispy Kratos asks, What was your biggest criticism of Breath of the Wild, and what do you want most for Breath of the Wild 2? And it's funny that this question comes up after we had already discussed everything that we have discussed in this podcast, because it would definitely be the lack of dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Case closed. Open and shut.
I agree.
Pretty much.
Don't mean to just like blow through questions like that, but
Okay.
as we've had an opportunity to talk about it.
The Geek Apprentice, do you have your
I know I
last
had
question?
to take you back to the podcast like an hour.
I had to find another one because my second one disappeared. So,
Wait, I think I can bring it back because I thought that all the questions were asked.
what?
What are you doing?
What?
What?
What is happening?
What?
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 I mean, I found another one.
Oh yeah.
Good. Take it.
I'll just go with that. I was just like, where'd my other one go? But okay, this comes from Ro Plays Game. Do you think that Breath of the Wild 2 will have a large time jump, or will it be a direct sequel, with the beginning of the game starting a few days after Breath of the Wild? And by time jump, I'm not talking like Ocarina time jump, but like a considerably large period of time. Maybe a year or something like that. I could see it going, either, a couple months after to being like a year or two after. And I feel like I would need to see more trailers and be able to see more of the world to determine that. And part of the reason, and I guess this doesn't actually make a huge difference, but the fact that Zelda did chop her hair off, I'm like, she could have easily done that right away as like, I just need to, after being locked up for 100 years, I just need to get rid of this. I need to start anew. But it could also be like after a good amount of time, she was like, hey, we need to go do this thing and the hair's going to be in the way. Or they may not even address it. I feel like they will address it. By how Zelda talked in the first game, I think she'll address it herself somehow. So I don't know which one it could be. I don't think it'll be a few days after. I don't think so. I think we'll have at least a couple months post Breath of the Wild, in my opinion. At least.
Yeah. I think there's going to be time enough for them to have done some adventuring or something, but I have no proof or evidence to support this, but for some reason, 2 years just keeps coming up in my head. And I don't know why, but I just keep thinking it's 2 years out. And I'm like, there's no reason for me to think that. There's no evidence to go on, but just that's the number that keeps sticking in my head. We'll see if I'm right. But no, I think there's, I don't know, they could just have an unspecified amount of time.
True.
They've done that between games.
It'd be nice if they had a specified time though.
It's true. They had specifically, it's been 7 years. We've been in the spirit realm.
Yeah, I'm good.
You're just like
No, I was
like
watching.
smiling off to the side, like
I was watching everything delete from the document. So I'm
What?
just like, it's magic. No, okay. So, final question, right?
I think you're the final question, Jesse.
Yeah,
You
that's
are.
that's what I was asking, confirming. So the final question comes from a question on our Facebook page from Ramona, who says, "What is one of your all-time favorite Zelda theories, and do you think an answer to it, as far as whether or not the theory is true, will be incorporated into a future Zelda installment?" So, I will go with no.
No, you don't have any favorite theories?
Know that. Okay, so I was trying to think of one that could be possibly incorporated, but I can't really think of any. Because if it's a theory that, like, I don't know, like, so there's the theory that I got the video on about how in Skyward Sword it says demise came from a crack in the ground. And around the same time that Skyward Sword was being worked on and released, The other game they also just happened to be working on and release was A Link Between Worlds, which lets you go to a darker version of Hyrule by going through a literal crack in the ground. Or the rocks, or the walls, or whatever. So I have the video talking about the different similarities between all of that stuff. And if they decided to do a game in the future that just make up a completely new area and say that Demise came from it, I don't know. But that's my thoughts. Daniel, what about you? Do you have a theory that they could possibly incorporate into future Zelda games? Like that body in the dungeon being Tingle?
Not that one.
Okay. I thought we could be friends.
No.
I knew you were gonna say Dragon Break.
Everyone knew it. it's my favorite theory. I really think that they've already incorporated it in Zelda, so they could do it again. Majora's Mask and Skyward Sword are both Dragon Breaks, and the timeline is you just gotta nicely like braid them together, like a nice braid, like a nice triple stranded braid.
I mean, most regular braids are 3 strands.
Yes, that one.
Choobs,
And then it's connected.
do you have a theory that you would like to see incorporated into a future game?
Yeah, Choobs.
You know what? I don't think I have a favorite theory because every time dead. But I feel like regardless with theories that it probably wouldn't be incorporated unless it was like a happy accident where Nintendo stumbled across something and they're like, hey, yeah, that's a really good idea. We're gonna slap it in right there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for the most part, especially when it comes to doing anything like this, like they'll take constructive criticism about like fix your online and why doesn't Super Mario Maker 2 have like actual like playing with people that you know capability and you could just connect with random strangers? That doesn't make sense. And they go, oops, our bad, let's fix that. But I think as far as like theories and stuff go, I feel like that's probably a lot that they're aware of and probably steer very clear of. Especially once you start getting into theories, that's where you start running into problems. Like if they did something based off of a theory and it was very coincidence, they would probably get in a lot of trouble for doing that because someone out there somewhere is like, I was the first person that came up with that theory. Nintendo owes me money. So the only way that it would happen is if it is like very, very coincidental. But that's maybe being way too literal.
No, but you're probably right.
Yeah.
The IRL things are less interesting, but the most true ones. So
That's true.
I'm sorry, I'm a big buzzkill.
No, I agree. Honestly. Oh, Jesse's frozen on my end.
Am I?
Maybe he's just like
Nope.
that.
Oh gosh, no, you were really
He's just being still.
sitting very still.
like
he's not even
Drax, he's
breathing.
invisible.
Staring.
Jesse, stop staring like that.
I'm
Yeah,
reading.
that's a very
Jeez.
odd stare.
You just look like you're staring into
No,
my-
you guys are over here. The webcam's here and the comments are here. So when I'm reading the comments, it just looks like I'm staring into space. But if I was staring at you guys would be like, what's he looking at? What's to his
Real
side?
talk, I have it the other way around because I'm more likely to look at you guys because station. Also, I just like looking at myself and I'll get caught looking at myself all the time, so I have to have it on the screen.
See, my problem is, if I have you guys on the screen in front of me, then I'll just get distracted by everyone's gorgeous beautifulness. So I have to put you to the side so I can focus.
Aw, I always knew you were in love with Daniel.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's not a secret. Like he's never tried
But
to hide.
I hate to
that.
break it to you, Jesse. Daniel's in love with Zoltic, so
Yeah.
Not
Things
his
got
wife,
really awkward after
Zeltic.
LA. Hope you're watching this, Celtic.
Like, yeah, he's a good guy. Okay.
No. So,
I chat with a guy on at dinner time, and everyone gives me a hard time about it.
Daniel, now
That's
you
the
know what
society we
my
live in.
life is like. I go to one work event, I have a conversation about nerd stuff with one man, and suddenly my entire life is upside down, and everyone is just scattering rumors around me, and I don't know how
Yeah,
to sort
and
them out.
then you actually started dating that guy.
And then I start dating him.
The whole rumors were like, I think they're interested in each other. Maybe they should date. Oh, those two would be a good couple. And then you're like, oh my gosh, they're gossip. And then you actually went out. And it's just like...
they willed it into existence.
Whereas I will not be going out Celtic because, first of all, I'm married quite happily. And also, he lives in the UK, so that'll never happen.
But see, you're already in a relationship with Jesse, so that means that, like,
It's all very complicated.
you and your wife will still be together even if you decide that you find true love.
He listens to this sometimes, guys.
Geek
But
Apprentice.
not anymore.
Do you have a theory that could be incorporated?
Wait, who, me?
Stop talking
Yeah, you.
again.
Oh,
What?
yeah. Come on, Pancake.
Oh, it's cutting out again.
Do you have
My
a
internet's
Do you
very
have a
bad
theory?
because There's too many people in my house
Geek
using
Apprentice?
the internet on multiple devices.
Do you have
wow.
a theory?
Not really. I was gonna troll Daniel and say Link and Zelda are siblings.
Oh no.
That was the question you gave us when we first met you.
That was one of my first questions, yeah. I think it was like the second or third. I don't remember what my first question.
Sorry.
Now here we are.
Sorry for shaming people about their theory.
No, at that point I had already heard you say something about it that actually disproved it, and I was like, wait a minute, I need to know more now.
Mhm.
Oh. No, this theory's crap. What am I doing? So you enlightened me.
Yeah, I'll take that.
So no, I don't have any like particularly favorite theories. I don't think. I mean, I'll probably think of one later, but I'm with Kayla, and I'm sure everyone else agrees too. Like, it wouldn't be a good idea for them to incorporate it. You know. Especially not that Link is dead, because he is dead. He died once, and that was in Ocarina of Time, possibly.
I mean, they all die eventually.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So Lucy, our guest,
Lucy.
do you have any favorite Zelda theories that could or could not be incorporated into future games?
Well, I agree with the earlier sentiments that they're not going to be purposefully integrated. And the one theory that I like has already been completely discredited by creators. But in my heart, there's still that Triforce piece somewhere, so it's a quad somewhere out there.
The Tetraforce theory.
Somewhere.
Not the Tingle theory, Xavier says.
Not the tingle theory.
They're talking about veggie burgers in the chat. Those are your people, Daniel.
Well, I'm not so sure. I mean, Den is there, who my horse is named after in Breath of the Wild. Said, by his request, for those who thinking I'm just a jerk, is
I named my horse after
saying-
Jesse without his permission.
Oh, okay.
You
Well,
have a
that's
horse
pretty
named
good.
Jesse? Cool.
He said veggie burgers is useless, and I just want, because it's a vegetable, and I just want you to know vegetables are not useless. They're very good for you. You should eat your vegetables.
Yeah. So,
Don't eat only vegetables, but you should still eat them.
Daniel, now that we are at the end of the podcast, where can
Mhm.
people find you? And
Well,
stalk you and kidnap you.
My home address
And cuddle you.
No, wait.
You
You can't find it. No, you can search me up Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube at Capt Burgerson, CAPTBURERSON. I just bumped my death,
Mhm.
and I do
good job.
streams on Twitch twice a week, those streams get archived on YouTube, but also I make some other unrelated videos or related videos, and I'm also on this podcast as well. If you just like to listen to my I was gonna say silky, but it's not my sandy voice, my like grovelly voice. Like it's not a good silky
That was
smooth voice.
frightening.
It's just like a yeah. So for some reason that interests you. That's how you can find me.
All right.
Who's next?
And 𝐓𝐿𝐼, where can people find you?
Well, now that I am going to try to be off of hiatus, you guys can find me on Twitter. I'm always there at 𝐓𝐿𝐼. You can follow my Instagram at 𝐓𝐿𝐼. And most importantly, you can come watch me stream occasionally on Twitch at 𝐓𝐿𝐼, which is with an extra A because I'm an idiot.
𝐓𝐿𝐼.
Yeah, so you guys can find me there. I am planning on doing a hacking stream tomorrow because it's been too long. And yeah, it's me. I'm also occasionally on the podcast, but I will probably bail because Chewbacca needs me.
And
Bando Supreme.
you met Chewbacca in Hollywood.
He was at E3 too.
Was he?
He was.
Yeah.
I liked the Chewbacca at E3 more because he talk.
Yeah.
That's how she likes her.
Well, they kept asking for money. So, like, if you're going to charge someone for a picture, you should do it before they take a picture. That way they don't feel guilty. Because I got guilted into giving them money.
I would rather give the cardboard standee money.
Yeah. So, the Geek Apprentice, who's taking up most of the screen here for some reason.
Yeah.
See, Skype makes it all organized and clean. So, like, there's no empty space. Everyone's taking up all of it. But then Discord's just like, no, we're going to make it weird. But anyways, where can people find you? The Geek Apprentice.
They can find me on YouTube, Geek Apprentice. I post videos at least one day a week, but sometimes it's twice a week, random. I stream randomly both on YouTube and Twitch at the same time, so you can find me on Twitch by the same name, The Geek Apprentice, and Instagram, The Geek Apprentice. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Alright, and Lucy, do you have anything for anyone to follow you at? I don't know if you have public Instagrams or Twitters or YouTubes or anything.
You can find me in a couple of videos on the Geek Apprentice YouTube. And you can find me through my cat's Instagram, which you're literally just gonna get cat pictures as fair warning. And it's long and complicated, but it's Flinstagram_Mustafa.
Alright.
I'm gonna find this. I like cat pictures.
Oh, it's Flynn after her cat.
It's his Instagram.
Alright, and mine, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything is /GameOverJesse. I try to put everyone who hosts the podcast's Instagram up. I hope those are the correct links. So, yeah. You can find the Twitter and Instagrams and other YouTube channels in the description. I'm still updating that. And also, Daniel and Tubes got sent new chairs from Ewen. These people.
Twinsies. How do you just take your pillow like that? What in tarnation?
Oh, there's a buckle though. You can unbuckle.
Yeah, people just take these things off so easily. I see like for pillows.
So,
There. It's
if you use GOJ, 𝐴𝐸𝐺𝐸, you can get 15% off. And I think they're even having a 4th of July sale still, so you can get stuff off for that too. People in the chat followed Flynn.
Yeah,
Good,
I did.
you know, he's such a good little bean boy.
Alright, and with that, I guess we're done. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Please go to iTunes and subscribe and review on iTunes, and we will read out your review on the next podcast. So thank you all, and good night.
Bye, everybody.